Welcome to this month's share video. We apologize we weren't able to get this video out to you in April, but we're talking about building community and how important that is. And I just want to kind of take you to the beginning of what requires this. Being pregnant is literally the only time you are never alone. You have a living child within you. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you're not alone, right? So you have this feeling of not feeling alone. And then to lose that child is just, it's a loneliness I don't think anyone can survive alone. They're gonna need people. They're gonna need community, because it is just such a loneliness that just, it debilitates you. And in some ways, without knowing that there is community to offer you that love and support, the stigma around loss has been so that it's something you suffer in silence. No one really understands what you're going through. You're overreacting, right? You're making everyone sad. Put it behind you. Just keep moving forward, which all makes you feel just that much more alone and suffering and in just complete silence. So because of really, really bold, brave people, we've had the opportunity to build these communities of other people who have gone through this unimaginable loss and have felt that loneliness so deeply in their core that they need people who understand and can empathize purely with what they're going through. And really that's what Share is for so many people. If that's what it's been for me, and Angie, I know for you too, it's literally saying you're not alone. Like, I felt that too, and I still feel that, but to be together and share in this grief, you're never going to be alone. We will always be here. We will always understand and support you in every way possible. And we will make sure that your precious baby or babies are remembered, and that their names are spoken every single year at our beautiful walks, and that there is a place for you in our community, and that we continue to grow this beautiful community. But then, Angie, if you want to kind of just talk about, I guess, when you don't know about people like Share, or maybe the community's too big for you. Maybe you're just not at that stage. The beginning of that, how do you maybe just even build community within your family, or like friendships, or like, where do you go and you really just don't feel like anybody understands?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Rachel, because it's absolutely true. Like, that's what we're doing here. Is you and I are members of a community, and I'm sure that people watching this are members of the same community.
Yeah.
That's why they're watching this video.
Yeah.
And it's a really good question of like, how do we go from being not a part of this community to understanding what's available to us, and who is there to support us? I feel like for a lot of us who experience loss, the very first community that we come in contact with is the medical community.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. So oftentimes, if we are pregnant, we make contact with our physicians or midwives, and we start there. And we are under their care, expecting that we're going to have like a normal pregnancy, full-term birth. Like, that's our expectation. But then things don't work out as we had hoped. Something along the line goes wrong, and we lose our precious one. And the medical community will often invest time and resources so that they can offer the best support that they can offer while you are actively under their care. Some places are better than others. Some have done more work around these issues than other places have. But in general, these are people who care about mothers and families and about babies. That's why they do the work that they do.
Yeah.
And so often they will be there to help support through that very initial experience. They can help us understand what happened to us. Depending on how often you've been pregnant, how many children you have had, you may be very experienced in pregnancy and birth, or you may know absolutely nothing about pregnancy and birth. And so the medical community is usually our first point of contact of gathering and gaining support after a loss or during a loss. People who are watching this video, your loss may be pretty present. It might be happening now. It might have been in the near past, or it may have been in the farther past. And no matter how long it's been since your loss, the medical community can help you understand what happened. They can help you put together as many pieces of the puzzle as possible. There are not always answers. That's one of the difficulties that sometimes we have to learn to accept, and we have to learn to live with uncertainty around what our experiences have been, like what happened to us, what happened to our baby. Sometimes we just don't have that picture, but our medical providers can help fill in as many of the blank spaces as possible. So that's the first community that I would encourage people to consider reaching out to, is to take advantage of the care providers who are around you, who, oftentimes their hearts break whenever there's a loss, just like ours do. And they, they see it and they live, they walk with these families and they see it again and again and again. So definitely take advantage of care providers who are around you to help fill in some of those blanks when possible. And even if your physician is not someone, or the physician who was walking with you through the loss, even if that's not somebody that you feel like you have access to or you can go to get your answers, ask a different physician, ask a different nurse, gather your medical records if necessary, and go and talk to someone. There are a lot of people who would be willing to sit there and walk with you, work through those medical records with you, so that you really understand what your condition was, what your baby's condition was, what answers you do have and what answers you don't have. So they're the first community that I would say that you definitely could make contact with. You had mentioned family and friends. It is really true that it's often difficult for people who have not been through this to understand what it is that you are feeling and experiencing. And even a couple, the partners might have different experiences of that loss. The person who was carrying the baby may have a very different experience than the father did of that baby and of that pregnancy. So often our family is well-intentioned, our friends are well-intentioned, and the best support that we can receive from them is the support when we tell them what it is that we need or don't need at any particular time. Now, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we just don't know even what it is that we need. And I think it's really okay to tell our family and our friends, I just don't know what I need right now. Often we just want them to sit with us. We just want them to be with us, to allow us to be in their presence and just kind of experience them and their nurture and their care. Maybe we want to talk about it, maybe we don't want to talk about it. But I think that if we are able to tell our family and friends, this is what I need today. I need a quiet day, or I need a distracting day, or I need, to just sit quietly by myself and read a book, or, I need to be out among people without having to interact. Whatever it is that you need, feel free, please, to tell your family and friends what it is that you need. Not every family, not every set of friends are going to understand. And I think that if we can also release them from expectation If
Mm.
they don't have a lot of experience with death and loss, with pregnancy loss in particular, they just may not have the skills and experiences to be able to meet your needs. That's true. Um, there are ways that they could learn. Share could help family and friends learn.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can
that's a good point.
definitely, yeah, you can definitely point your family and friends to Share, to receive some direction about
Hmm.
how best to support family people who have lost a baby.
Yeah.
Um, but just the person who has lost the baby, trying to just communicate what it is that you need, if you know, is really a good way to kind of take advantage of that community that's around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so the next community, the next circle of community would be people who do understand. So to
Yes.
me, this would be let's say, mental health supports,
Hmm.
counselors, um, uh, people who can help you kind of work through your experience and process your experience. People who understand pregnancy loss, they have personal experience, they're trained, but they are professionals.
Yeah.
And so they know how to sit in a space with people who have experienced this kind of loss and be with you in the middle of that and make
Hmm.
room for your questions and your processing and your working through all of the different emotions that come along with losing your child or children, but then also dealing with life after that loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So navigating what's happening with family and friends, navigating returning to work, what happens with coworkers, navigating those anniversaries that come up that we have to face,
Mhm.
especially in that first year after the loss, all of those important dates. Um, Mental health professionals can be really a good circle of support for someone who's experienced a loss. But not every support has to be formal. Not everybody is going to need or desire like formal counseling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a group like Share,
Yeah.
more like your local community or online support, these are really excellent for people who want to just be in the presence of people who understand what's happening
Hmm.
with them.
Hmm.
So Share of Lancaster, we have an online support community that is available for families who want to talk, who want to just talk about their loss and hear about other people's losses and know that they are not alone.
Yeah.
There are other online support groups as well. Facebook, I know, has a million support groups that are available. National Share has support groups available. Postpartum Support International has support groups available. So literally any time of the
Yeah.
night or day. And it's especially important at night when your family and friends are sleeping, but you're awake and you're
Hmm.
dealing with and you're sitting with your grief and you're dealing with that and you just want company.
Yeah.
Having the availability of Facebook groups or other kinds of online groups where you can find people there 24 hours a day, they can be super supportive and super helpful. um, so those are definitely resources that are available for families. But even in our local community, we have other things that are available here that are in person. So sometimes we want the ability to be able to um, be among people who understand, to
Yes.
be within a circle of people who get it, who have been through it, and who not only have been there, but who are actively working with their grief and with their loss. And
Mm.
this is why I think Share of Lancaster is so amazing, because we offer opportunities throughout every year for
Hmm.
families to come together to honor their parenthood, to honor their experience, to honor their children.
Yeah.
So we have the different parents, the parent support group that's online. We do parent activities in the summertime, like between Mother's Day and Father's Day, to honor your parenthood.
Hmm.
And we have in October, we have our walk that we do every year where every child's name is read out loud and is honored. And we do that during, this is kind of like a national and even international month, which is October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And on October 15th, there's Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. And on that day, all throughout all 24 hours of the day, there is a wave of light that goes across the world of people lighting candles to remember their children. And so these kinds of activities that we do on an annual basis, when, monthly basis, watch videos like this, go into support groups, share in walks, do different remembrance events, all of that helps us to create a community. It helps us to be a part of all of the different kinds of supports that are available for people like us, people who have lost their babies and who are looking for ways for that experience to be honored. And so these are some of the supports that are available to us. There are a lot of others. There are books, there are websites, there are online magazines that will continue to offer support to families as well.
Yeah, and it's huge. I think one thing that, through my process and hearing about Share when I was in the hospital and then like becoming part of that community, it's also because we have these little different communities, like our family, our friends, maybe other lost moms. What I found is like trying to bring them into the Share community has been a huge part, to just kind of see the magnitude of families at that walk, to see that many families and that many names. It really, I don't know, it's changed a lot of my family's perception of what it's like, how, I can be fine and they see me and I'm always fine, but the day of the walk, I have to read a poem and I can't even get through it because the grief is so raw, right? Like it's not something that just goes away. But I think in those scenarios, it's really the place where our communities can kind of merge and come together in a big way to say, hey guys, yeah, this is something that I grieve almost every day, but you don't see it. And I don't really necessarily show you it, but in this community, you can see how these people are here and they show up every year. We do this walk. So we make sure that even if it's just once a year, our babies' names are said aloud, are on the screen. And yeah, it's just been huge. And a lot of people, I think, have been so much more compassionate and understanding because of being included in things like that, where I would normally think I'm not going to include them because it's probably going to be too difficult and awkward. And I'm not sure if what they would think, but in turn, it actually merging a lot of my community and sharing it with other lost moms and yeah, like growing some of the bigger communities even bigger, because the magnitude of that, you just don't know. You don't know if something down the road would happen to a friend of theirs and then they could direct them based on, what you've shared with them. So absolutely. Yeah. But no, thank you for kind of helping us through just the stages of the importance of the different communities that you can go through and find what's right for you. And again, you're just watching this video, you're a part of our community just by taking the time to open your heart and hear what we have to offer. And this video is airing the day after Mother's Day, which is, we just this past Sunday had Breathed Mother's Day, and a lot of lost moms don't know about that day and what that day has to offer for the lost community and remembrance. And so just even things like that, just knowing that, hey, if Mother's Day was really hard for you, it's really hard for pretty much all lost moms, regardless of if they have any living children or not. It's a really hard day. So if you feel like yesterday was difficult and exhausting and draining, Yep. It's kind of that way every year, it's just part of the grief of knowing that not all of your children or any of your children are here to celebrate your motherhood in its full realm. So that's a lot that the community has offered me, is just knowledge of these days, these, October and the Wave of Light, like these beautiful, beautiful days of remembrance, and just feeling so not alone, and knowing that I can grieve in a community who will support and understand and love me right where I'm at. So yeah, it's a huge thing. So definitely start where you're comfortable, right? Whatever community feels right for you where you're at, but just know that Share as a whole is a huge community that is just the biggest, most welcoming arms to just love you, love your baby, love your babies to just the fullest degree that we can. So yes, we're so grateful that you're watching this, and we hope that you'll share it if you think that this would be helpful for someone else going through that difficult time of just trying to figure out where they fit in now, because yeah, it's the worst group to be a part of, like you always say, Angie, but the people in it are just, at least for me, I found the most incredible people that I just didn't even know could exist. And they're fellow lost mothers and fathers. And it's a beautiful community we've created out of such a horrific loss.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And stay tuned for some events coming up this summer for Share, our parents event. Just more things that Angie and I hope to be able to bring support-wise to you guys, but our goal is to at least bring you a video every month with a different topic, something that we hope that you can take away from or share with someone that you think would be beneficial to them. And please just reach out to us if you have any questions, or if there's anything we can better love and support you with. And I think that's it. Thank you, Angie, again for all your wisdom. We love everything that you have to offer, Share, and we're so grateful for you.
Thanks.